We're two best friends.
Two mediums that live in a virtual dream house.
Have our podcast taped and find out what happens when spirits get real.
Real funny. By the way, if you don't like cuss words, Dana, what do we rate it?
We're rated M for mediumship or Matt's immature.
I thought it was Matt is awesome, but whatever. Enjoy this episode.
This is I'm a Medium.
Ask me how.
I'm a medium, ask me how.
Welcome back. It's been a while.
It's been so long. Hi. Welcome back to I'm a Medium, ask me how. Hi guys, we missed you.
Kiss to the judges. Pretty girls.
Have you missed us?
I know. I you know what, Dana? I think we forgot the how part. We were just like, I'm a medium, and then we just bounced. We just left him.
I'm a medium. Peace. Figure it out for your own fucking selves.
I'm a medium. I'm not going to tell you everything.
Sometimes you got to figure it out on your own selves.
You know what? I'd rather you do it in the house than to go learn from the streets. But I guess, you need some streets sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you know, Dana, you know how some people are like really book smart, and then there's some people that are street smart, and then there's some people that are neither. Our audience is more street smart and they're book smart.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me. Like which I was like, shit, which one am I?
You're book smart. I think you have a little bit of street smart.
I mean,
I've seen you wield a switchblade.
I'm good in the mountains, like on hikes and stuff. I'm good in those types of situations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're really good to.
I don't know if it's like that street smart, but like I'm like street. I'm smart in the woods.
Nature smart.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm a Virgo that I'm good in those kinds of instances and things like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I'm Taco Bell smart. I
know what I want.
Mm-hmm. I'm good at making a decision at Taco Bell. I just get everything.
I'll take one of everything, please. Wrap it to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, for as long as it's been that we haven't done an episode, not a lot has changed.
No.
I still eat Taco Bell. You still have a pink room.
Yep, and I'm still a huge bitch. So
I thought you were going to say a whore, but bitch, whore, same.
It's not Friday. I'm only a hoe on Fridays.
It's Friday somewhere. It's 5:00 somewhere. It's whore o'clock somewhere.
That's not how that works.
Well, we took a little broke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We took a break. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we took a break.
Why did we take a break? Let's talk to the kids about why we took a break.
Yeah. Well, first off, I think we felt like we didn't know what to talk about. Like, we would go to record an episode on a Sunday and we're like, what do you want to talk about? And you're like, I don't know. And we just ran out of shit to talk about.
Not only that, we had episodes and episodes where we're like, these are trash.
Yeah, we did actually have a slew of episodes that we recorded that were like, these aren't worth releasing. We didn't feel good about them, or this was something that the world really needed to hear. And so we took a break, and we were also busy. Life kind of went in a different direction. We got pulled in another direction on another podcast project.
We don't talk about her direct competitor.
No, I mean, listen, all of our I'm a Medium, ask me how people should go listen to our new podcast. Because I think that's that. But all of that has taken our attention. All of our creative juices and all of our ideas have been really poured into our new podcast, which is
Super Normal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. When you make a podcast like Mediumship and you have over 50 episodes, there's not much more that you can really dive into. What I noticed was we were regurgitating a lot of things that were coming back up. But I'm gonna be fully transparent. I was in a dark ass place, and so like no matter where I was coming from, it was like angry. Am I still angry? But the
You just
rage
caught
on
him
the
on a
page,
good
ladies.
day.
Yeah, you just caught me on a good day. No, but I was not in a really good place, and I didn't want our listeners to watch me struggle because I don't think that that's helpful. But it evolved, and so there was not much more that we could have talked about. Matthew Smith at Arthur Finley said something really interesting when we were talking about his book, because we were addressing, he's like, oh, I'm an author, and we're like, oh my god, we're gonna go buy his book, and he's like, don't. Because some of it was outdated and it wasn't where it was he was at that time. And I think that's what this podcast can, some episodes can be, is we're not the same people that made those episodes 2 years ago. Now we still best friends and we still love mediumship, but I think experience has changed us in our perspective of mediumship, and also like the way that me and you view it has changed independently on how we look at mediumship. You've grown, I've not.
That's not true.
I'm just joking. No, but I'm saying like I think there's some topics, Dana, where I think you've kind of had more of an understanding in it, and I've just kind of had a different understanding. And I think that makes for good podcasts. So buckle up, kids. There might be a lot more episodes coming.
Yeah, I mean, but we're meant to grow and change, because that's, I'm glad. I mean, it makes me nervous when sometimes people are like, I binge watched or listened to all of the podcasts. I'm like,
so
oh,
sorry.
but don't listen to that one, because that one, we could have done a better job describing the power. Like, I feel like we didn't do as good of a job doing certain episodes as I would have hoped that we could have. And to that Matthew Smith's point, like, my perspective on certain topics and things definitely have shifted and changed. But that's why I always say the boring thing that I always say, that I'm a developing medium forever until I'm dead, because we're always shifting and changing our paradigms and our being flexible in the way that we look at things and where we are in our mediumship journeys. Because there have been times in my mediumship journey where I was doing a lot of readings to points where I wasn't reading at all, where I felt like, I'm like, am I even really a medium anymore? And to, like,
Facts.
I think that it's a constant evolution of like, where am I today? And not being too attached to who I need to be or who I used to be. And I don't know, I appreciate this space at I'm a Medium, Ask Me How, and I appreciate the people that still listen and watch, to understand that we are ever evolving and growing. And first and foremost, we're humans doing mediumship. And I think more than anything, mediumship itself, the mechanics of mediumship, is actually really, really, really simple. Like, we can we've talked about this. We could teach you the mechanics of mediumship very quickly and very easily. It's always the human that gets in the way. It's always the human that makes it more complicated than it needs to be. So why wouldn't our own evolution as people, our own evolution in how our life shifts and change how we approach our mediumship? And why wouldn't that need more episodes of I'm a Medium, Ask Me How?
Oh, 100%. So do you believe in demons yet?
I met this guy Damon, and oh my God, I believe in him.
Okay,
Apps for days.
So you don't believe in demons. So we're still consistent. We're still pulling it up there. So great. I don't know. Like, I think one thing that's changed with me is that I think mediumship is an ability that you have, and it doesn't need to be all of you. It doesn't need to become your personality. And I think that when we make it our personality, you're one-dimensional. I've fallen in love with many other things along my path since I've been a medium, and I've just realized that I can do a lot of good with it, but it doesn't need to be every fucking minute of the day. Oh my God. Because it's a lot of death, and it's a lot of ego, and it's a lot of people, and I'm just going to say it black and white, I don't care. It's a lot of people trying to just be famous off of mediumship, and it really soiled my experience. So I took a break. I'm currently on siesta for my break. But I took a break because I think when you get to a burnout point with mediumship, it's real. And I think a lot of mediums get to a burnout point. And if you are not there yet and you're like, I was the grat, I'm like, bitch, see you in 2 years. Because there's going to be a point where it just becomes too much, and it becomes too much to deal with that part. And that's okay. One thing I want to reassure the people that are on siestas is that when you come back, it'll be there, and you haven't lost anything. Maybe that break was on purpose, right? Mm-hmm. You're pounding your head against the wall, being like, why can't I see? And then you take a break and maybe you see a little bit, right? Because you're not putting pressure and tension on it. So breaks are good. Take a break. They have rest periods at work, and you love your job. Do you not get up and go to the bathroom? Do you not go up and get a coffee? Well, this is your coffee break, boo-boo. Take your coffee break. You deserve it, because you're never going to get this time back. Go on vacation. You've accrued it.
Yeah. I feel like there's this, it's such an interesting topic, because when we think about, some of us do this on a professional level where we make money doing readings or whatever. And there's different layers of this, of when you have to pay your bills doing readings. I'm still at a point in my life where I have a day-to-day job that pays my bills, and it isn't a necessity for me to do readings to pay my bills. And so I have the luxury of being able to read when I want to read, and then take breaks when I'm burnt out or whatever. And it's interesting to me how often, even in doing readings on a paid basis, in the way that I do them, I will get to moments where I get burnt out doing them. And I will hit this moment of like, I can't do them anymore. I need a break. I need a break.
Water.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you spoke about balance, because, while in my dream situation, I'm not doing the day job thing anymore.
I thought you were talking about reading in your sleep.
Well, I was reading in my sleep last night, or during the day. I took a little nap because it was my day off, and Matt called me. And he woke me up from my nap, and I was like, I was dream reading last night, which will tend to happen. But it gets to a point where mediumship feels like a have to instead of a want to, and when the joy isn't there, and where you feel like it's a and there's just a different energy to it. And it's almost and that adds tension, right? And there can be lots of reasons why tension enters in. Like, again, maybe you have to pay the bills. That's how you keep the lights on in your house. That's how you put gas in your car. And so you have to book X amount of readings a week or a month to keep the lights on. So there's that amount of tension. There can be just like it, to your point of like, you talk about death all the time. If you don't have a good balance of life stuff going on, where you're doing life things and you're out in the world and you're seeing friends and you're doing all of that, and all you're doing is talking about really heavy death topics all day, and loss and swimming in grief all day, like that will do its toll on you as well. So it's an interesting concept and talk about, when is it time to take a break? Because breaks are important, I think, if you're going to talk about being a medium, of like, sometimes a break is warranted, because if you try to continue to push through when you feel burnt out, when you feel tired, when the joy is gone a little bit, when it feels like a job, because sometimes it will start to feel like a job.
Well, I wanted to Google. So if people don't know like signs of burnout, I'm going to give you the signs of burnout. So you're exhausted, insomnia, cynicism, difficulty concentrating, increased illness, self-isolation, physical and emotional exhaustion, depersonalization, and anxiety. And there's 15 more: headaches, reduced efficiency, irritability, detachment, loss of enjoyment, pessimism, feeling drained, energy depletion, exhaustion, loss of appetite, change in sleep patterns. If you're having any of those, it's time to take a break. And it doesn't matter if it is mediumship, if it is any of those. You deserve to be recharged. And if you're looking at it and you're cynic to whatever you're doing, take a break. Take a break. That was a huge indication for me that it was time to take a break, because like I would go on TikTok and I would start seeing the bullshit happen, and I'm like, is there like, God, is there any good mediums out there? Can I just get one good mediumship reading? And I wasn't seeing any, and I was like, this is soiling my I'm in a cesspool of fraud. Mm-hmm. And so I had to like realize that maybe I'm not in a cesspool of fraud. Maybe it's just my burnout that's talking, right? That I'm ripping things apart because I'm just dissatisfied within myself. But it's taking a break has been like the best thing. Like even just maybe like dabbling in it a little bit, it makes me enjoy reading more. It makes me have a better reading because I'm coming in fresh. I'm just kind of letting it be what it is. But it's also trusting yourself, of knowing your capability. You said to me like a few nights ago, we were on the phone and Dana was like, hi, how are you? And I'm like, I'm really good. But she goes, you're a fire medium. And I'm like, okay, great. Because I don't think of myself as a fire medium. I just think of myself as a medium. Like I'm not good or bad. I'm just there. But I'm going to recant that, and I'm going to say, yeah, I am a fire medium because I know when to walk away. Because I think when I see a lot of mediums doing this for like a desire, whether it be finances or doing it because they have to, or those fucking mediums that sit on TikTok all day and just crank readings out, they phone it in. There's a point where they phone it in. And I never want somebody to walk out of a reading space with me and go, wow, he phoned that in. And you can tell. Oh, you can tell. It's usually like the placations of the messages, like they really love you and they're always around you. I'm like, way to go, Sally. You just phoned that in. That's not what they said. It's just so you could tie that up, right? Take a break. Feel the emotions, because if we are numb, we aren't going to feel as much as we can clairsentiently. So if we take a break and we recharge and we fill our own cup emotionally, you're going to have more emotions. We've said this numerous times on 50 plus episodes. If I'm a medium, ask me how. Mediumship and your real life correlate. And 90% of this work is self-development. So if you're burnt out, if you're cynicism, do you think the spirit world's going to want to work with you? Yeah. Well, they will. But
I was just going to say they will, because you're open and available.
Right, you're open and available, but do you think you're really going to be the clear channel, as they say in the spiritual community, as you could be? No.
But I also think, to that point even deeper, something for me that I've been processing and experiencing is a lot of that, like self-work and like I had to like shut it down and really go internal and do a lot of personal work, like a lot of healing work, because like I was not doing well, like not good, dealing with a lot of depression, a lot of different things. And I think that it's important that we take breaks for that too. I was still sitting with spirit. I was still doing things, but you have to know what our limit is. And I feel like it all comes back to mediumship, doesn't it, Matt? Because we as the human try to control it, and we feel like we're machines that have to like clock in and clock out like any other normal job, where it's like, okay, I have to do this many readings and I'm a machine and I have to do this and I have to do that. But everything in our body feels the wall, feels like this doesn't flow anymore, or this doesn't feel right, because it's pushing us towards what we actually need to be focusing on. We actually need to be focusing on that self-care, that self-work, that maybe we need to be refocusing on the relationships in our life. Maybe we need to be refocusing on this area of our life. And then when we do come back to our mediumship, it works that much better because we have a stronger foundation to build off of. But that whole time we were trying to hold on to something and control something. You know, control is tension. It's the thing that mucks up mediumship, a mediumship connection. And it's hard to follow the flow. It's hard to feel like you're saying no to something you love so much, because at the end of the day, I know, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like you feel this way. There's
you can
so
speak
much
for me, baby.
There's so much love that we have for this. There's a passion that we have for this. And it feels like we're letting somebody down. Like maybe we're letting students down, or we're letting our audience down if I'm a medium, ask me how, or I'm letting my finances down, or I feel like I'm doing this, or I feel like I'm doing this. And why are you doing what you're doing? And I don't know. Maybe this all comes back down to the episode of what's your why, right?
Yeah.
But you have to get back to like, why are you doing this? And if you're feeling that you're doing all of this out of obligation or because of a have to, that's going to reflect in your connection. That's going to reflect in your reading.
You're going to phone it in. So many things happened. So when you were like, I was depressed, I giggled because you were like, shut it down. You know what my brain automatically went to? Like your spirit guide being like Gordon Ramsay, being like, shut it down. So I started giggling and I was like, oh, that's inappropriate. And then you also said something interesting, like everything is tied back to mediumship. Well, do you know what actually mediumship is? Like I had this revelation when you were talking. Mediumship isn't speaking to the dead. It's recapping the human experience, right? The human existence. It's the human existence. Everything can get tied back to the human existence. And if we aren't taking breaks to go live a human existence, we're an inanimate object. Just like me and Dana say, you're the telephone. And I don't know about you, you can only be the telephone as a living human being for so long before you start neglecting your own human experience, and your readings will never get better because you're not out living. Thank you so much. I'll pay the check later.
What? You told him that? You told him that?
Yeah, but it's the human experience.
Why don't you give me jewels like that? Rude.
Yeah. I'll pay you back later. But really truly is the human experience. So if we're not having that human experience, we're almost limiting our vocabulary to be able to speak to so many other things, right? You're only as good as your last reading, folks. I hate to say it, but if you're cranking them out over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you're not actually out living your best life, running through the beach, chasing your dog, having a connection, doing your laundry, and y'all, some of y'all smell from the amount of time you're sitting on TikTok. That, or you must be rolling in that money to have somebody pay to do your own laundry. But there is the time and a place for everything. And I think that we're also here to live. And if you're so busy doing everything and spending so much time with the other world that you're missing this one, you're going to have a lot of regrets in life. Because you're so busy helping everybody else that you're neglecting the person that needs the help the most. And that's yourself. You can only do so much for other people. And I think when I hear a lot of mediums now, they're like, I want to help other people. I want to help other people. Help yourself first. Help yourself first. And if that is taking a break, if that is going to get therapy, if that is doing your laundry, washing your face, or refurbishing Barbie dolls, do it the best you possibly can. Right, Skipper? Right. But really, it's life, and just finding other joys besides it. I think a lot has changed in my perspective within mediumship for my students as well. Like when taking a break, because now I can show up for my students a lot better. You know what I mean? And like when I'm there, I'm choosing to be there, which is really nice because I don't know about you kids or if you don't know, but I had to get a second job and, well, a first job. I have to call it a first job for legal reasons on this podcast, but it's my first job. um, but it pays my majority of my bills because I didn't want to put financial pressure on my mediumship because I didn't want to phone it in or do crappy readings because I had to. And I don't, nothing is worse. And I don't know about you, Dana. I don't know if you've experienced this yet, but when it's your sole job, it almost becomes this like stripped away version of you that you just feel this like desperation of like, if you're not booking readings in a recession, you're like, oh my God, I got to call my car payment and tell them I can't make it. It's not that I failed financially as a medium by all means. I was fine, but it's that fear of the unknown that comes up of being like, well, August was good. Let's hope for September. Mm-hmm. And that is not a comfortable place to live because you don't know when you're going to get sick. If you get sick as an independent contractor, that's essentially what you are as a medium, no one's going to show up for you and do the work for you, boo-boo. So what are you going to do to move all those readings around? And then it's just a bunch of stress. So I am now like a high advocate of if you can do it independently and you've got that squirrel fund away where you can go, and if something happens or if you want to take a vacation or do something and you got that squirrel fund, by all means. But that's not realistically where we are as a society right now with the amount of people and the young people that I see working 4 jobs and can barely afford a mortgage. Mm-hmm. It's not feasible in today's economy. Thanks, Obamacare. Do you know what I mean? I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. But really, ultimately, it's like learn to like understand what you can chew. Like, how much can I bite off and chew? Because if you take off too much, you're going to need more breaks, and that's less and less time. So be smart financially, but also go back. Why am I doing this? Mm-hmm. Why am I doing this? If it's for money, just go get a full-time job. Run.
I can't emphasize that enough. But I even want to say that, I mean, and I don't want to break my arm patting ourselves on the back, but I feel like that's really been our driving force at Matt and Dana of we've never done Matt and Dana for money. It has helped us. It has supported us.
Oh yeah.
But, we obviously don't do it for free, but we've always worked to try to make that affordable. We've always worked to help people with scholarships and sliding scales and things of that nature. But Matt and Dana has always been for our, I hate to say it this way, for our enjoyment. No, that's not it's not for your enjoyment. It's for ours. No, but everything that we do at Matt and Dana has always been following what fills our cup. Because if it doesn't bring us joy and it feels like a have to, we modify and we switch things up, because as soon as Matt and I feel burnt out on it, we stop doing it, because we just, we don't have to, like from a financial point of view, like we don't have to do the things at Matt and Dana. And so I think that's been really nice of like not feeling like, oh man, if we take this off the books, then we're fucked financially. Like it's, we know that we're making room for something else that is going to be fulfilling to both of us.
Smart decisions.
And are we utilizing our time in the best way that we can? And we know that when we are doing things that
TikTok, it just fucks us.
It does. But we know that it takes too much time. But we know that like if we're following our joy and when we're following things that excite us and that make us really happy, that the flow happens every single time, and we see it happen with our students, and our students feel it. And I feel like the more we do that, that's following the flow, right? The more that we're noticing have-tos happening in our life, the more that we're noticing this feels sluggish, this feels like, that's when we have to notice things. And going full circle to what okay, maybe you haven't gone professional, or you haven't, been in this situation yet, but maybe you feel burnt out on development.
Yeah.
I also want to offer that, like, your mediumship will be here for you when you come to pick it back up, because we've had it 1,000 times for students that maybe they had a significant loss in their family and they were like, I can't do this right now. I can't muster coming up to circle. Or, hey, it's the summer and it's time to be with the kids, or whatever. Breaks are good. That means you're out there living life. That means maybe you're taking that time to address some therapy issues that, you need to do. It will always be here when you come back. The spirit world is always around us and available whenever we're ready to work with them. And I think that that's really important to remember.
So you know how I always talk in analogies?
Yes, I do.
Because I'm an adult and I can't use my words. Think about a break like breaking a leg, right? So it's painful when you sometimes have to take a break, but then when you break it, it ends up healing and it's stronger for it, right? And then you're glad that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I broke my leg on the jet ski. It was so fun on the jet ski though, right? But really it's what you do afterwards to get back up on the saddle and you showing up. You only have one job in mediumship. I'm sorry, it's just two. Well, okay, two. They just yelled at me. It's two. It's to show up and say the thing. Show up and say the thing. Everything else is just pressure you're putting on yourself that hasn't happened yet, or it's looking back about the past of what you couldn't change. Oh well. So just show up and say the thing. That's your only job. Anytime you come back on the horse, and just surprise yourself. Just surprise yourself, because a lot of mediums take breaks when they don't feel the thing that they felt on the first week of mediumship, of chasing that dragon, because they're like, oh, my amazing reading that I had the first time, I want it. And then they don't get it, and then they take a break. Take a break. But you have a lot more learning to do. Go back and listen to the other episodes, because I'm going to yell at you about it there.
I mean, you've got so many episodes where we'll yell at you if you... Do you like it when we yell at you?
Oh my God, yeah, I hope you do.
Yeah. I mean, we'll also tell you that you're pretty and you're worth it.
You're the loving one.
Isn't that Maybelline?
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something about like you're worth it. I don't know. But
that's Clairol.
Yeah, maybe. But maybe we need to make it the new slogan of Matt and Dana.
And you're worth
Mediumship, because you're worth it.
For those of you who don't watch on YouTube, you miss out on a lot of shit. Sorry.
You missed out. Sorry about it. I don't know. I even just love how I just want to honor the flow of things, because we didn't intend on recording this episode today.
No, you're lucky.
Am I lucky, or they're lucky?
They're lucky.
No.
Mom and Dad got in the studio and were like, let's just talk.
Let's just record. And I have been listening to old episodes recently, and I was like, oh, it's like coming home.
Well, it will always
I'm full
be
of slogans today.
I'm a medium. Ask me how.
But it's okay to take a break.
Up was Dana in your cup.
Can you imagine this face looking at you from your cup?
Open. How many can I wedge in here?
You know how much? I want to ask you a question, Matt, because I thought about I was just thinking about this, like how much we expect our mediumship journey to turn out a certain way, of like, and how hard it is to take a break sometimes, because are we like letting that dream down, or our whatever, or our vision down of what we expect it's supposed to be, or where we're meant to go, or whatever. Because we always talk to our students about like, what's your why for mediumship? And sometimes like somebody's why for mediumship, their very first time that they ever show up is, I just want to see if this is real, or I want to have a better connection to my own spiritual practice, or connect with my own loved ones in spirit. That's a real normal first off, right? Mm-hmm. You will get those people that are like, I want to do this professionally someday. There was a point in my development where I was like, I see this long term. Like, I see what this is meant to look like long term. And I would be lying if I didn't say like I had like this vision of like what it was supposed to look like, right? And to say that it looks nothing like that is like to say it, and it doesn't look anything like what I envisioned at this point, right? And to take a break from it, like, it feels like the breaks that I've had to take from it, it felt like either I was letting myself down, or like I was letting the dream down, or I really wanted it really badly. And there's just a lot of emotion in taking a break. Mm-hmm. Or
is there
releasing
a question?
My expectations. My question to you, sorry, there was a question.
I was like, is there a question in that?
No, the question is can you extrapolate the question from that statement? Are you psychic,
like
or
turtles.
are you not? Yes or no?
What's the question?
Do you resonate with that same kind of idea of like walking into your mediumship development with these high expectations or kind of ideas of like what this is going to turn into or be long term, and then you kind of needing to take a break and or stop from it, and then that being kind of what fucks with you in needing to take a break?
Do you want the black and white answer?
You answer it in any way you want.
So the black and white answer is, I think that only affects the insecure. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if you don't know what I mean, let me just reword that. Because I think a lot of people, when they worry about taking a break or like looking at a dream of how it works, like you're not being realistic to yourself. I think self-confidence within mediumship, of knowing that if you can make a connection, you can make a consistent connection, and you provided evidence, you can do it no matter when you're going to do it. I think it's more self-worth. So like, I'm going to use myself as an example because I'm on a siesta, right? I know the minute I get back, it'll be fine. I know that like when I am confident within my ability as a medium and as a mediumship teacher to be able to take a break from it and know through and through how it works to a level of understanding, but not knowing everything, that I know it will come back, and that I can read right now if I wanted to, you know what I mean? So I have confidence within myself. So I would say if you are feeling that, what I would do is maybe on this break, take a little bit of self-reflection and do some self-development and go, is that true? Is that true? Now, if you have this grandiose idea of what your mediumship should look like, I would take a little bit of a reality check. Because that's what I see a lot of people, I'm going to get on a soapbox here for just a second, that usually get frustrated that they're not on TV, or they don't have a TV deal, or they're not reading in front of large groups of people. It's like, then why are you doing mediumship? Because if you're doing it to perform, I highly suggest doing the Small City Players rendition of Pippin if you're looking to perform for people, right? So like looking at like why, like, and really being honest with yourself. We can lie to ourselves all the time, but really being like why, of being like, what is this idea that I'm fabricating? What is this expectation that I'm fabricating? And why am I okay with just not sitting down and doing a one-on-one reading or doing a reading like this? Because I think we're missing the boat in the transaction and the lead of what it got there. Look, I'm going to be fucking frank, because I can't be fucking Matt right now, is that Tyler Henry's, Teresa Caputo's, John Edwards, insert famous medium here, are rare. And they're out doing the work in a restaurant, or, you know, Tyler Henry sat at a Chinese restaurant and would give readings at a Chinese restaurant. And that's how he was discovered. He wasn't on fucking TikTok. He was out doing the work.
Yeah.
And so if you're not out doing the work, and you have this grandiose idea that you're going to be discovered on TikTok. There's 2 million people on TikTok. Good luck, sis. I really wish you well. I hope it works out for you. So we have to be honest within ourselves. Just show up and say the thing and show up. Mm-hmm. Right? So I know that's a black and white answer that's a little bit insensitive, right? And I understand it, but really truly looking at like, what is it that you're looking to really get out of it? So yeah, you want to go perform or you want to go do all this stuff, but what is the sensation that you're hoping to get out of it? What's the end goal of that? Right? And if it's not aligning to your real why of why you're doing it, during your break, do some self-assessment of being like, do I desire to just be exposed and feel validated for doing this? And if that is the why, is it to really truly help people, or is it to help myself? Right? And I think breaks and honesty are super important. Because I can tell you, like, the reason why a lot of what I'm taking a break is because I love this so much that I don't want to compromise it or look at it in a negative way because I love it so much. So if I know that I'm so involved with everybody else and the way that they're doing it, I've lost my connection with myself. And my why is to do mediumship in a way that is speaking for the spirit world, not to help people. I want to help the spirit world be a voice box because they deserve it. Because if you realistically look at this data, and dear listeners, they don't have a lot of chances to speak. Mediums aren't as, and as much as TikTok makes it seem, we're not a dime a dozen. The authentic mediums that are out showing up and doing the work and actually saying the things that the spirit world wants to say are fucking rare. And so if I'm too busy paying attention to the noise, I'm not paying attention to the spirit world of what they're saying. So during my siesta, I've just been getting back to myself. What is it that Matt likes to do? What is it that brings Matt joy that doesn't involve mediumship? Because who am I at the end of the day? And so if I have more self-confidence within myself to know that I don't need to be on TV, I don't need to do this, but I just need to show up and just give messages when I want to. Oh, you know how much like fun that is? Because it can make you feel, and I'm not bashing TikTok. By all means, I'm not. Some people really like it, and it reaches a lot of people. But to me, I felt like a monkey. I felt like I was a dancing monkey on stage that I needed to do 9 million connections during that time. Because you know what? At some point, Dana, you know what people were saying? Are you going to read? Can you shut up and read? Can you read? And that can make you feel like you've lost yourself at this point, that you're just like this quarter vending machine. So that was a fancy schmancy way of saying, do self-care, self-reflection, work on yourself, illuminate what your why is, look at what these grandiose ideas and perceptions of what you believe it is, because as much as we are psychics, we're not psychics for ourselves. Like, I've never seen a psychic go, I predicted this for myself, X, Y, and Z, because we have self-investment. We want the best for ourselves.
You brought up something that's really important, because a lot of the things like motivators are so outside of ourselves that have nothing to do with either the work itself or anything that has to do with things internally. And I'll be very vulnerable and say that I loved growing my TikTok following. Like, I thought it was cool when I hit 40,000 or, you know, like whatever, like when my TikTok numbers would go up, I'd be like, yay. But you know what never changed? My life never changed when my TikTok followings went up, or when I would hit these certain numbers, you know, or I would like nothing in my life changed. Like I would seek out these validations, if you will, of like either certain other readers like validating that I was a good reader, or a certain number of followers. And you know what? It didn't change anything, because the same insecurities that I had were still there. The same vulnerability issues that I had were still there. It didn't matter who said nice things about me, or who I have in my corner saying, hey, she's great, you should follow her. It's nice to hear those things. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's nice. But that doesn't change at the core of anything how I felt about myself. And that was such a big wake up moment. And that's not to say I don't appreciate every follower that I've gained in my journey or my social media journey of all of that. It's not to say I'm not thankful for that. And it's not to say I'm not thankful for the other mediums or creators that have said really wonderful things about me. But when we get so wrapped up in that shit, we lose sight of why we really do this shit. And when I say, like, it didn't change my fucking life. Nothing changed. My mediumship connection didn't improve because my number of followers increased. You know, my confidence level didn't improve because I had so-and-so say, you know, follow her, she's great, or, you know, blah, 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 blah. That all comes from within. And so that was a real big thing for me of being like, this shit doesn't fucking matter. And all of this attention and energy that I was putting into this doesn't fucking matter.
Mm-hmm. But you know what hasn't changed for you? At the core end of the day, what I think makes me the most proud of you is that you can still bounce a quarter off your ass.
That is true. Because it doesn't quit.
No, I think that it's just kind of like that self-reflective part and like what matters. And I love that about you.
But that didn't come, like, that didn't just happen. Like, this is kind of like where I am now versus if you would have asked me this a year ago, I wouldn't have been able to tell you that. That's where I am now.
Yeah. It's been, it's like I, as much as we're like, oh my God, 2024, it's a year of just silence, self-reflection, sitting within ourselves, expansion within ourselves, discomfort within ourselves. I think 2024 year is the year of growing. And I think 2025 is going to be the year of showing.
Oh. Like.
Showing the growth of 2021. It's a timeless episode. Well, Dana, I think that we can take a solid break from this episode and knowing the fact that we drove it home. We tucked it in, we told it it's pretty, and then we held its hair as it threw up in the toilet because it had way too much change.
Yeah,
and you can find us
that
on
you're
Super
worth
Bowl.
it. Like, even like as you're wiping the sweat off its brow, as you're holding back the hair, you're worth it. Don't call him back. Don't text him.
You snuck another tagline in there. I have to run for the border on that one.
Hey, we're gonna get sued.
Dong.
Well, we've missed you guys, and
Yeah.
you know, just because we're not around to remind you, you still are the light of 100,000 suns.
Yeah. And don't forget to hit the like bell notification and subscribe, damn it.
And make sure you're going to listen to not only this podcast, but our other podcast, Super Normal.
Yeah. Get addicted to me. Hi,
you know
Minnie
you
Dana.
want it, baby.
And I
Like,
have a problem. No, go. I love you. Well, we love you all. You're in our hearts. Do something nice to yourself. And Dana, take it away one last
I
time.
did. I said the thing. You're fucking
Tell me
light.
I'm the light after the 100,000 full moons, baby.
Oh my God. You're light. You're light. You're light. You are the light.
Bye, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Get out of here. Hey, Dana, do you know who still has it?
Who?
Logan. He's never lost it.
No. Logan.
Logie.
Poor Logan has been lost for 6 months.
Yeah. We've been trying to feed him, but not after midnight because we don't want him to duplicate. So
Yeah, he's a little gremlin.